Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So, when it comes to building a commander deck, you can spend thousands of dollars, but also, here's the thing. You can spend almost nothing on the deck as well, and you can build a deck that absolutely slaps. So on this deck, let's forget expensive cards. This deck is commons only. Now first, before we actually talk about the commander I chose for the episode, let's talk about the commanders that were in consideration, because there are a lot of really exciting, very cheap commanders that, well, can build some really, really good decks. The first one was Hamza, Guardian of Rashin, a 5/5 Elfin Warrior, and it actually is less to cost based on the number of creatures you control with counters on them. And then all of a sudden, when this is in play, it reduces all your creature spells by every single creature you have that has a counter on it, essentially. So, yeah, you can do some really crazy and even broken things with this one. It was in consideration, but I decided to go in a different direction, which was also not the least reverent medium, which basically says, hey, you know what? On your turn, you made a number of tokens. Let's double that up. Let's give you X11 Flying Spirits with flying based on your tokens that you created. So, yeah, there's a lot of efficient ways that are budget-friendly and at common level, too, to make a lot of tokens. And, of course, some pump effects as well. I decided to go in a different direction next, but not yet, because, well, Lila Hospitality Hostess would probably be the perfect commander for this. Technically not legal in Commander. Now, that might not have stopped me. I decided to go in a different direction, though. But this is a really fun commander that you can probably ask your playgroup ahead of time, and they will say, yeah, we're okay with that. Look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast common spells to the top of your library and guess you control ++1. Just ignore the whole guess part of this and just care about, look at the top of your library, casting common spells. This is just an absurd card for, obviously, an all-commons deck, because you basically just have a future sight from the command zone. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Cardu Durmscourge is another one I decided not to go with. It's a very fun one. It's one that can utilize a lot of great Feigned Death effects as well, which are at common range. Enters the battlefield until your next turn. Basically, goad all creatures your opponents control, essentially. So they start attacking each other, which is great. You also can drain opponents when creatures die that are attacking as well. Didn't go in that direction. Or Queen of Lalolf. This is one as well that is also, well, a really good commander when it comes to a token-based strategy. It's power times each of the number of creatures you control. It says if one or more creatures would be created under your control, those tokens, plus a 1/1 soldier are created instead, basically helps you go even wider from the command zone, which can be quite great. Didn't go with that one. One final one before we get to the actual one. Honest Rutstein. Honest Rutstein. I like this commander. It's really cool. Enters the battlefield. Bring back a creature card from your grave to your hand. That's nice. More importantly, though, reduces the cost of your creature spells. Kind of like Hamza, but again with a set amount. Still, you can go absolutely crazy with like an artifact creature deck when they all cost like 1 or 2 and you're just casting an absurd amount of them. That being said, the perfect commander that I decided to go with, though, for this deck is Zada Hedron Grinder. An absolute powerhouse and one that is absurd when it comes to utilizing common cards. A 3/3 Goblin Ally for 4 mana in red. Just a 10-cent commander itself. So again, when trying to make this budget-friendly, making it just 10-cent commander, that really helps too. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Zada Hedron Grinder, copy that spell for each other creature you control that spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. So, basically, it says, hey, you know what? Let's replicate this spell out to our entire team. And there are some very powerful, just kind of innocuous common cards. Again, they're just like, oh yeah, it just target a creature, but it draws you a card. Target a creature, but it makes you a treasure or gets you mana, or target a creature and it pumps a decent amount. But again, because they are built on the, efficiency of, okay, just targeting one creature, they're at common level, and they're not that expensive as well. But when you spread that out to all your creatures that you have, oh my goodness, this can be so powerful. And of course, there's a lot of budget-friendly common ways to make a lot of creatures very quickly too. So this was the perfect choice, in my opinion, for this deck. Not that the other commanders I went through were not good choices. Again, they were all options on the board, except for, I guess, Lila Hospitality Hostess, unless you ask your playgroup ahead of time. But I think their playgroup would probably be okay with that one. That being said, let's jump into the deck and talk about all the crazy things that you can do with Zada on this incredibly low budget with all commons. So, first tactic, let's talk about Dragon Fodder, and plenty of cards like it in the tactic 2 for the show because, well, again, plenty of low-to-the-ground, efficient ways to make 2 creatures. Sorcery for 2 mana, make 2 1/1 goblins. Do we care that they're goblins? Not really. Not all that much. What we care about is we're just making 2 creatures. So how about Forbidden Friendship? Exact same thing, but it makes a dinosaur with haste and a soldier that doesn't have haste for some reason. Anyways, 2 mana for 2 creatures, that's all we care about. Goblin Instigator, exact same thing. A 1/1 Goblin Rogue, ETBs, makes a Goblin Friend. Again, just 2 mana, get 2 creatures. Krankos Command, literally the exact same thing as Dragon Fodder, which is quite funny. I'm not sure exactly why they didn't do the exact same thing, just reprint it, but I'm pretty happy they didn't, because you get an extra version of it. Aether Chaser, a 2/1 Human Artificer with First Strike, ETBs, you get 2 energy. When it attacks, you can pay 2 energy to make that 1/1 servo, so you don't get those 2 creatures right away, but eventually, obviously, you can get those 2 creatures. Then there's Mog War Marshal. Technically makes 3, but kind of like sticks 2 on the field. Yeah, basically a 1/1 Goblin Warrior. It's got Echo. If you don't pay it, it dies. Enters the battlefield or dies. You make a 1/1. So again, for the most part, it is going to be, well, for like an Aristocrat style deck, you'd be like, oh, great, 3 creatures. But for this kind of a deck where you want to keep those creatures around, it's basically 2, maybe 3 if you pay the extra mana to keep it around, and then it eventually dies and you replace it. Next up, Rally Thornburg, a sorcerer for 2 mana. Create 2 1/1 humans, and also give humans haste. Cool, good for you. Most importantly, again, though, just 2 mana, 2 creatures. Well, I get that haste is relevant, though, to be able to swing right away with them. Could be very relevant. Rel's Reinforcements, though, 2 mana, 2 elementals. Cool. Next up, Goblin Surprise, though. This one does cost 3 mana, so it's not as efficient. That being said, you either create 2 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens, or later on in the game, this could be a good finisher for you as well. Give your creatures +2/+0, so a nice little additional boost for you. Moving on to our next tactic, we've got Bring Some Friends, and first up, Shock Brigade. Now, this one just starts off at 1, technically, but then goes to 2 and much more than that throughout the game. A 1/3 Goblin Soldier with Menace for 2 mana and red, mobilize 1. Basically, whenever this creature attacks, you get a tap that attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token. You sacrifice to be an next end step. This one just keeps bringing an additional creature on that attack. Yeah, you got to get rid of them, but it's going to keep bringing them throughout the game. Then there's Circuitous Act. Circuitous Act. There you go. That one's a tough one to say. Roll 3 6-sided dice. For each different result, create a 1/1 White Clown Robot Artifact Creature Token. Now, I think I looked at the odds on this, and the odds are incredibly low of just getting 1. They're decent at getting 2, but the best odds out there on this are at getting 3. So, yeah, most of the time you're going to get 3, sometimes 2, but 3 would be nice. You definitely get 3, though, with her Hordling Outburst. It says, create 3 1/1 goblins for 3 mana. That's exactly what you want. After the Warrens technically only gives you 2. Technically just 2. But, much more than that for a deck like this. Create 2 1/1 Goblin Creature tokens, and it's got Storm, so basically copy it for every single spell cast before this turn. You're in a deck where you can cast an absurd amount of things. Yes, even on a budget like this. Yes, even with just commons, you can do some crazy things. This can be a finisher in and of itself. Then there's Goblin War Party, 4 mana. You can either make 3 1/1 goblins, or give your creatures ++1 in haste off turn, or entwine it for both. Regardless, both are great options, but most of the time, you're making those 3 goblins. And finally, Emrakul's Hatcher. Again, we don't care what kinds of creatures we're getting. We just care about filling the board with creatures. This is a 3/3 Eldrazi drone. Enters the battlefield, you make 3 0/1 Eldrazi spawns. You can sacrifice them for mana if you want to, or again, this is 4 bodies for 5 mana, which is fantastic. Let's keep things rolling. We've got, well, the next tactic with Doubling Up, and Spawning Breath is a card that you might not expect to be good with this commander, but is actually incredible. An instant for 2 mana. Deals 1 damage to our creature or player, and you put a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn on the battlefield that, again, you can sacrifice for mana. Now, you might think, okay, well, a lot of my creatures that I just mentioned, most of them are, well, 1 toughness creatures. I don't want to take them out, and no, you don't. That being said, well, you do have certain ways where you can pump your creatures temporarily, give them some additional toughness to make them survive this, and by doing so, you essentially double up your entire army. Again, if you have, say, 10 creatures in play, and you cast this, and they're all going to survive that, you went from having 10 creatures to 20 creatures, again, at instant speed, and that can be quite crazy, again, when it comes to Zada and the amount of things that you can now target. So, yeah, that plus Make Mischief can also be an amazing card as well. Sorcerer, 3 mana, 1 damage to our creature or player. You make a 1/1 Devil, and when it dies, 1 damage to our creature or player. Again, it's nice that it has an additional effect. We don't care too much about that necessarily. What we do care about is literally, hey, double up your army for just 3 mana. So yeah, that in combination with a pump effect we'll get to here in a little bit can make it so that we do just that. Continuing on, we've got Ancestors Aid, an instant for 2 mana in red. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Create a treasure token. Yeah, this mana burst category is pretty absurd and has gotten more absurd in more recent years. Basically, this is a nice little pump effect. Sure, +2/+0 first strike. We probably wouldn't include that, though, for a 2-mana instant. But again, this giving us a treasure token is insane. Because again, for our example of having, say, 10 creatures on the board, we just spent 2 mana, just 2 mana, to make 10 mana that we then get to save up as treasures and utilize however we want. So this is basically a mass ritual effect, mass temporary ramp effect for us that can really get things going. This can be the type of deck where, yeah, once you get it going, it is literally impossible to stop. Next up, though, Battle Hymn. This one is really sweet with this deck as well. Instant for 2 mana. Add red to your mana pool for each creature you control, so you're not even taking advantage of necessarily targeting with Zada, right? You're just like, you know what? I'm just caring about how many creatures I have in general. This is just going to give me a massive amount of ritual mana to utilize, and you can do some crazy things with it. Or how about Sudden Breakthrough? Again, literally the exact same thing. Exact same thing as Ancestors 8, but we get an additional version of it. +2/+0, first strike, create a treasure token. So yeah, being able to just say, you know what, 2 mana, make 10. Thank you. Appreciate that. Flick a coin. 1 image to any target, you create a treasure token. Again, we need to pump our creatures. We need to make sure that they have enough toughness to survive. But that being said, hey, draw a card and make a treasure token. This is an insane card in this deck. 3 mana for, again, with our example of 10 creatures on the board, which is not hard for us to get to. It's like, okay, 3 mana, 10 treasures, and then draw 10 cards. You're probably going to win the game from there because you're probably going to get to either more card draw or more ways to make more treasures, like maybe improvised weaponry. This is going to deal 2 damage to any target, so it can be a flexible card where you actually take out an opponent's creature, small creature if you need to, create a treasure token. But yeah, more so you're going to be like, okay, I need to pump my creature. I need to make it so I do that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, yeah, again, I get an absurd amount of creatures. Good for me. Inner Fire, though, yeah, this card is absolutely absurd with this deck, too. Sorcery for 4 mana and red. Add red to your mana pool for each card in your hand. We'll get to them here in our next tactic, but yeah, like Flick a Coin, we've got plenty of ways to draw a card for every single creature we control. And all of a sudden, we're going to have 20, 30 plus cards in our hand. You cast this, and yeah, you win the game. You just win the game. There is no stopping you from there. Then there's Involuntary Employment, which is a very funny card as well. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. Gains haste until end of turn. Create treasure token. This one is relevant because it actually can give our entire team haste. Yeah, again, by targeting Zada, we target all of our creatures. We already have control of them. We don't care about that. We untap them. Probably not relevant. What is relevant, again, is haste, and obviously make a treasure token. Literally, if it was just 4 mana sorcery, target a creature, does nothing, make a treasure token, yeah, we would still play that because it's just a mass ritual effect for us that is absolutely crazy. Time to shift gears, though. Oh my goodness. This tactic is called Ancestral Recall. Eat your heart out. Ancestral Anger is a card that, well, again, it's definitely not Ancestral Recall for most strategies out there. Ancestral Recall is an instant too, I believe, too, right? But I'll take this one in this deck. A sorcery for a single red mana. Target creature gains Trample and gets +X/+0 until end of turn. Rex is 1 plus the number of cards named Ancestral Anger in your graveyard. Draw a card. Now, again, this isn't one of those persistent petitioner type cards. We can't just go, hey, you know what, play more than one of these. No. So you're still only getting the +1/+0. That being said, you get +1/+0, Trample, which of course is incredibly relevant, which we'll talk about in our pump effect as well, tactic. But yes, again, draw a card. So again, for 1 mana, again, assuming we have, let's just say, 10 creatures on the board, which is not hard for us to get to, you paid 1 mana, you just drew 10 cards. And pumped your entire team and gave them Trample. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Next up, though, Bolduvian Rage. These are all cards that work amazingly with this commander. Some better than others, though. This is an instant for X and a red. Target attacking creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn. Draw a card at the beginning of next turn's upkeep. So this one can be better in some ways where you can pump the attacking creatures more. You do have to cast it during combat, obviously. That being said, it is a delayed card draw. So if you don't need to pump those attacking creatures, you can just cast for a single red mana and then draw cards. You know, again, it's delayed, but that's fine. Sure. And actually, you get around like max hand sizes as well. That being said, if you need to pump a creature slot, you definitely can. Crimson Wisp, a very good card with this deck. Instant for a single red mana. Make a creature red. That's not relevant. But it gets haste until end of turn, and you draw a card. So a way to make our team quicker, and also a way to, well, yeah, draw a certain amount of cards. Exact same thing with Expedite, minus the turning the creature red. We don't care about that part anyways. Who cares? Might of the Meek, though. Our creature gets triple until end of turn. Ignore the whole mouse thing. Yeah, we don't really have mice in this deck, I don't think. +1 was 0 for those, though, if we had them. Draw a card. Again, giving trample and drawing a card for our entire team. This is absolutely huge. Panic! Oh my gosh. Play only during combat before blockers are declared. Target creature cannot be assigned to block this turn. Draw a card the next turn's upkeep. Basically, with this one, again, you might think, okay, well, you can actually make it so that an opponent's creature can't block and you can get your creatures through. Absolutely. But more than likely, you're going to be like, okay, my creatures, because I target Zada with this, it targets all my creatures, they can't block, but they're attacking. Okay, cool. Good for that. I'll just draw the cards at the next turn's upkeep. Thank you. Renegade Tactics. Target creature can't block this turn. Draw a card. Again, very similar. A way to get creatures through if you need to, or more likely, just be like, okay, my creatures can't block during my turn. Good for me. Draw 10 cards. Thank you. Ryle, yet another card where you do need that kind of pump effect to save your creatures, but we've got plenty of those. Source for a single red mana. Deals 1 damage to our creature you control. Gains trample until end of turn. Draw a card. So yet another way to get damage through, and also, again, draw an absurd amount of cards. Accelerate, basically just a worst expedite. This is, hey, 2 mana versus 1. We'll take it still. Haste and draw a card. Fist of Flame. My goodness, this is quite the finisher for us. Draw a card until end of turn. Target creature gains trample and gets +1/+0 for each card you draw on this turn. An absurd card. Again, assuming we have, say, 10 creatures. Just picture this. You've got 10 creatures in play. You cast this. Okay. You just drew an absurd amount of cards, and you just pumped your entire team an absurd amount. Now, picture that plus another one of these, any of these other, draw cards like Expedite. Okay, like I cast Expedite first, then I cast this. Oh, I just drew like 20 cards in the turn. My creature's getting like +20, and all of a sudden, they're massive and they're swinging through, and they've got trample, and my opponents are gone. Sazkep's Brew, another great card as well. You can gift a tap fish if you want to, giving that to an opponent. Just cost to cast a spell, discard 1 card. Target player draws 2 cards. If the gift was promised, target creature control gets +0 until end of turn. Yeah, this is an absurd amount. Since that is initial cost to cast the spell, that's just for the cast. You only have to discard 1 card to actually cast this spell. Keep that in mind. When it's copied, it's going to be for more than that. So yeah, do keep that in mind. Next up, though, stun. Target creature can't block this turn. Draw a card. Quite nice. Again, we don't really care that the creature can't block because we're targeting our own. Witch's Mark. You may discard a card if you do. Draw 2 cards. Lovely. We're going to be doing that. Create a Wicked Roll token attached up to 1 target creature you control. That basically means that, hey, when that creature's in the graveyard, the opponent loses 1 life. Each one loses 1 life, I should say. So, yeah, being able to just draw an absurd amount of cards again. Being able to draw all those cards, being able to just get all those Wicked Rolls attached to our creatures, that little pump effect plus the life loss. What's not to love about that? Finally, though, Enthusiastic Study. It's in for 3 mana, +3/+1, trample until end of turn for all of our creatures. That is massive. On top of that, learn. So basically, again, learn, because the rules committee doesn't like outside the game. This is basically just discard a card to draw a card, so rummage. So yeah, basically rummage for your entire team. This is not card advantage, but it is amazing card selection for us, on top of that great pump effect. Let's move forward. We've got tactic number, 6, dig down, and we've got crash through. Creatures you control gain trample until end of turn, draw a card. This is not one that is like Ancestral Recall plus kind of levels. This is still a solid card for this deck, though, because it does give our entire team trample. We do get to draw a card. It replaces itself at cantrips, and it helps us get damage through, which, of course, is paramount. We can have all that power for all of our creatures, but if we can't get that damage through, it might not, work. But it might just still take out one opponent. But we want to take them all out at the same time. Glimpse the Impossible. This is an interesting one. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You can play those cards this turn, be next end step. If any of those cards remain exiled, put them into your graveyard, then create an Eldrazi spawn for each one, essentially. So this one is one where, on those turns where we're going ham and we have all that mana that we're generating, we can take advantage of those 3 cards. Or early on in the game, this can be 3 mana, make 3 tokens, which again is incredibly efficient for us. And it can also be like a temporary mana advantage spell for us as well, if we need to utilize those Eldrazi spawns for mana later on. Onward we go to our next tactic, pump it up. And again, I already kind of mentioned a couple of cards that we already have with pumping creatures. That being said, these are dedicated specifically to pumping our creatures up. Brute Force, a great one, basically just giant growth. Instant for a single red mana, +3/+3 until end of turn. Again, normally this would be like, oh, that's a nice little combat trick, I guess. But again, with your entire team, this is like, oh, you just basically cast Overrun minus the trample, but just for 1 mana and at instant speed. My goodness. Infuriate, a slightly less version of that, but still very good. Just +3/+2, just. Again, for our entire team, which could be a massive amount. Kick in the door. This is a fun one. put a counter on target creature. So again, this is a permanent pump effect for our team. That creature gains haste until end of turn and can't be blocked by walls this turn. Okay. Anyways, venture into the dungeon, which, oh my goodness, again, if you venture into the dungeon with like 10 plus creatures, you can do some absurd things just going down all those dungeon paths. So have fun with that. And also, if you're playing against a walls deck, you're unblockable. Raise the effigy, though. You can either destroy an artifact or give it a target attacking creature +2/+2 until end of turn. So this is removal, or this is a great way to pump our entire team. Summit Sprint +2/+1 gains haste until end of turn and scry 1, so it can make our team quick. Can also give a nice pump effect, and also, again, not card advantage, but amazing card selection with that scry 1. Speaking of which, Titan Strength, very similar to that one. +3/+1 until end of turn and scry 1. Again, for all of our entire team, scrying, that is basically like, not necessarily like tutoring and getting something on the top, but again, you're digging down so much so you can get to the right cards that you need. How about Blazing Crescendo, though? +3/+1 to a creature, exile a top card of your library until the end of your next stream and play that card. So yeah, this is basically Impulse Draw for our entire team, which can be a massive amount, plus that great pump effect as well. Brute Strength, very simple, very effective. +3/+1, trample until end of turn. Again, being able to get creatures through is paramount with this deck. Run a Monk, +3/+3, and trample to the attacking creatures. So yeah, again, another great way to pump our team. Then there's Siege Smash, very good newer card, I should say. Split Second, so good luck stopping unless you've got a Willbender opponents. You can destroy an artifact if you need to, or give target creature +3/+3, please 3/+2 if I could talk, and trample until end of turn. Teamer Battle Rage. Let's double things up. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Yeah, again, so all this pump that we are doing is gonna be so much more absurd. On top of that, if the creature has power 4 or greater, trample. So yeah, that's gonna be our entire team having trample as well. Finally, though, Downhill Charge. This is a hilarious card for this strategy. Instant for 3 mana. You can sacrifice a mountain, though, to pay it for free. Oh, cool. So we can cast all those other things that is cast this for free. Lovely. Target you get +X+0 until after X the number of mountains you control. Again, this is a budget-friendly deck with like all commons in it. We have like one non-mountain in the deck. So yeah, all of our lands are going to be mountains. This could be an absurd bump effect for us. All right, buckle up for this next one, though, with the Tactic Value Town. Felonious Rage. Yes. Instant for a single red mana. Target creature control gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. So again, both good things. A nice little pump effect and a way to make our team be able to swing right away. That's huge, again, for just 1 mana. That being said, when that creature dies this turn, you get a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. Yeah, being able to say, okay, our entire team, here's the thing. You know what? If you get taken out, you get replaced. So literally, this can be a 1 mana, like, board wipe prevention type card. I mean, not prevention, because you're going to lose your creature still, but, like, it replaces those creatures and potentially makes them even better, which is kind of absurd, on top of being a nice little pump effect when we need it. Otherworldly Outburst, very similar to this one. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When it dies this turn, you get a 3/2 Eldrazi. So again, basically, you're like, okay, opponent, oh, you just cast a Wrath of God? Okay, 1 mana, targeting Zada. Bounces to my entire team, basically. And all of a sudden, my entire team gets taken out. But I replace them with bigger creatures now. Have fun with that. Turn Inside Out. Target creature gets +3/+0 until end of turn. Again, for just a single mana, a nice pump effect. When it dies this turn, Manifest Dread. Again, look at the top 2 cards of your library. One goes on the battlefield face down. The other goes into your graveyard. And you can turn it face up anytime for its cast cost if it's a creature card. So basically, again, you replace your entire team, you like dig through your deck and get to what you need, essentially. You get the right things on the field, and you can actually flip them when you need to as well. On top of this being a great pump effect, there's a lot of cool things you can do. Speaking of which, Soul's Fire. I love this card. Instant for 3 mana. Target creature control deals damage equal its power to any target. Again, we've got all these ways to make all these creatures. We've got all these pump effects. And we can be like, you know what, actually, I don't even need to get through in combat on you to take you out. I'm just going to cast this. I'm going to have my entire team basically dish out all the power that they have to my opponent's faces and just take them out. Or, of course, I can spread that damage to creatures to make sure I can get through in combat or whatever I need to do. It can be great removal as well. Get ready for what's coming up next, though, with Start It Up. Yeah, that's right. First up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble, of course. You had to know Wayfarer's Bauble is coming, right? It is a common. It's an amazing ramp card. Artifact for 1. Pay 2 tap, sacrifice, get a basic land into play tapped. Everflowing Chalice, also an uncommon, at least for the 2x Master Set, whatever that one was. Artifact for 0, Multi-Kicker 2, enters battle with a charge counter on it for each time it was kicked, taps for that much. Basically, pay 2, it taps for 2, or taps for 1, pay 4, taps for 2, etc., etc. Arcane Signet has been printed at common as well. Artifact for 2, taps for our color, red. Then there's Fire Diamond, enters battlefield, tapped and taps for a red as well. Mind Stone, enters battlefield, untapped, taps for a color, so we can pay 1 tap and sacrifice to draw a card. Ornithopter of Paradise, we have a mana dork here, a 0/2 Thopter with flying for 2 mana, taps for 1 mana of any color. So again, typically I like to lean more not the mana dork side when it comes to ramp. That being said, with this commander, this is an evasive mana dork, and again, being an extra body on the field that is evasive, that can be game ending for our opponents with all of our pump effects as well. Thought Vessel, you have no maximum hand size, tap for a colorless. Yeah, this one being a common is huge for us because we got all these ways to draw all these cards again with those Ancestral Recall plus kind of cards. Absolutely crazy. So we're also running Decantler of Endless Water. Oh my goodness. Artifact for 3. You have no maximum hand size, tap for 1 mana of any color. Slightly less efficient than I want for a mana rock, but that being said, yeah, no max mana size can be massive for a commander deck like this. Up next on our tactics list, though, is Great Land, where I point out one great land because, again, everything else is a mountain, which are great, but still, this is a land mountain as well. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more other mountains, and it says when it enters the battlefield untapped, you get a 1/1 red dwarf creature token. Again, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to have this coming into play untapped. Again, every other land in the deck is a mountain, so there you go. But yeah, having this come into play untapped just like a regular mountain does, and it gives you a 1/1, a free creature token. That can be absolutely huge. Again, every creature matters in this deck. Getting them all out, essentially, and just being able to give you more targets for those, ramp spells, those, card draw spells, those pump spells. It can be a game changer for you. But now to wrap things up, again, you can build an incredibly expensive commander. You can spend thousands upon thousands of dollars. You can spend more on one card than this entire deck costs, which according to Moxfield is $13.44, though that always typically with Moxfield is on the lower side because that's like pulling the lowest prices out of everything out there. That being said, still like $20 maybe essentially for a deck like this. You can easily spend more than that on just one card. You might spend more on that just on your commander. If you're building like Dragon or whatnot, or like, yeah, Edgar Markov, they're going to be more expensive than that. Urza's going to be more expensive than that. But yeah, being able to say, you know what, I'm going to build a crazy cool deck that is all commons, that is utilizing some really small, innocuous commons that no one's ever heard of, like Panic or whatnot. Like, oh, what is that? And you're like, don't worry about it. Here comes some crazy things. I'm targeting my own creature and it can't block. And you're like, yeah, that's what's happening. Your opponents are like, what is going on? Again, you can do some absolutely insane things, draw so many cards, make so much free mana, have an absurd turn, and take your opponents out of nowhere with a commander like this, and again with all commons in the deck. So a fun challenge to tackle. If you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.